I'm Teresa Higgins. I am the Brand Director for Barbour EHS, and I'm going to cover the legal requirements and responsibilities of using forklift trucks. So who's Barbour? Well, if you've not heard of us before, Barbour we've been going for over 60 years. We're the oldest and best known provider of specialist information services. We cover things like health and safety, facilities, estates, environment and energy, fire and security, mental health and wellbeing, and even international information. It's just legislation and guidance to help with these type of topics like forklift trucks. So, forklift trucks, as you all know, they are used for handling and moving goods and materials, and in found in many different types of workplaces. There are a wide range of different types of forklift trucks, including industrial counterbalance, industrial reach, rough terrain counterbalance, and variable reach trucks. So, a few statistics for you. Workplace transport is a major source of fatal and major injuries. The HSE estimates that there are over 5,000 incidents involving transport in the workplace, and the Health and Safety Executive estimates that the lift trucks are involved in about a quarter of all workplace transport incidents. 18% of workplace fatal injuries in 2021 were caused by moving vehicles. And over the last 3 years, accident figures based on Riddle show that 43% of incidents involving a forklift truck were impacts with a third person. Of these, 65% were pedestrians engaged in activities unrelated to the immediate truck operation. 20% were co-workers, supervisors, and 15% were delivery drivers watching or assisting with loading and unloading their vehicle. Some common hazards include poor supervision, lack of training, overturns, collisions with pedestrians or other vehicles, use at inappropriate speeds, and unsuitable grounds conditions. 3 areas to consider when controlling risks was the vehicle, operators, and as we've just found out from the key statistics, pedestrians. So let's start with the vehicles. Ensure that the lift truck has been maintained and is in good working order. Ensure falling object protection, FOPs, and rollover protection, ROPs, are fitted where required. Ensure that lifting equipment has statutory LOLA examinations carried out, and ensure that the lift truck is suitable for the work environment. For operators, only operate a lift truck that you have been trained to and are familiar with. Carry out pre-use checks and report any faults. Always wear a seatbelt where fitted. Follow any site rules and speed restrictions. Do not use a mobile phone while driving. Maintain a good field of vision and always look in the direction of travel. Always check for pedestrians and other vehicles before moving off, and slow down around pedestrians. There's a key theme here, I think. Be aware of ground conditions, including wet or icy conditions. Always drive with the forks a few inches off the ground when not carrying a load. Sorry, there's a D missing there, I've just noticed. Do not lift loads beyond the safe working load of a lift truck. Be aware of how the load may affect the stability of the lift truck. Do not drive with a raised load unless the truck is designed to do so. When travelling with a load, always ensure that the forks face uphill when going up or down a slope. Never turn or drive across a slope. Never lift someone on the forks of a lift truck. Do not leave keys with an unattended lift truck. Never operate if under the effects of drugs or alcohol. Report any conditions that may affect your ability to operate the lift truck. Do not take a forklift truck into an area with a potentially flammable or explosive atmosphere, or where flammable materials are stored unless the truck is designed and certified for this use. Operator training. This should include 3 stages: basic training, specific job training, and can't even say that word, familiarization training. Easy for you to say. Employers must ensure that lift truck operators are trained to the standards outlined in the ACOP L117, whether using in-house trainers or external training providers. Ensure you continually assess trainees' progress and include tests for them to demonstrate that they have gained and understood the necessary theoretical and practical skills and knowledge. Ensure that the trainee has practical experience under close supervision. Provide refresher training for both operators and supervisors, ideally every 3 to 5 years. Carry out conversion training for experienced operators to operate different types of lift trucks. Things like counterbalance operators learning to operate reach trucks. Pedestrians. Do not operate a lift truck unless trained or authorised to do so. Never walk under a raised load. Only approach a lift truck when an operator is aware of your presence. Never ride on a lift truck unless it is designed to carry passengers. So legal requirements. There are a number of different legal requirements which sets duties on employers and employees. Some of the legislation that you should be aware of is the supply of machinery regulations, management of health and safety at work regulations, PURE, which is the provision and use of work equipment regulations, lifting operations and lifting equipment regulations 99, obviously LOLA, workplace health and safety the workplace health, safety and welfare regulations, the control of substances hazardous to health, CDM, dangerous substances and explosive atmosphere regulations. So there's a few to take into consideration for your legal registers. Some case studies. So vinyl compound, the failings included allowing an operator who is not adequately trained to use a lift truck and not ensuring the use of seat belts, and not putting measures into place to control the speed of the lift trucks on site. The company was fined £450,000 and ordered to pay costs of £71,000 after pleading guilty. The breaches were done under Section 2(1) of the Health and Safety at Work Act and Regulation 3 of the Management of Health and Safety at Work Regs. Second case study was a company, MK Illumination UK Limited. The failings included inadequate risk assessments of traffic routes on site, which required forklift trucks to travel under a number of overhead structural beams, with only a small clearance gap between the mast of the trucks at the lowest settings and the beams. No hazard markings to highlight these overhead obstructions. The company was fined £53,000 and ordered to pay costs of £7,000. The breaches were under the Health and Safety at Work Act. So what are the manager's responsibilities? The recommendations are appropriate training. Ensure that operators are appropriately trained and familiar with the trucks they are operating. Authorization. Provide authorization in writing to trained operators allowed to use lift trucks. Maintenance. Ensure that lift trucks are maintained through regular operator checks and servicing by a competent person in line with any manufacturer's recommendations. Equipment. Ensure that lift trucks have been subject to a thorough examination under the lifting operation and lifting equipment regulations, and records are kept. Supervision. Ensure that forklift truck operators are routinely monitored by competent supervisors. Refresher training. Provide periodic refresher training, typically every 3 to 5 years, unless there has been any issues identified with the performance of the operator. Competence. Ensure that instructors used to train operators have the necessary competence. There are voluntary accreditation schemes that a number of training organisations have signed up to. The intention of these schemes is to help set and maintain standards for the training. Fire and explosive safety. Ensure forklift trucks cannot enter areas where there is a risk of potentially flammable or explosive atmosphere unless designed and certified for such use. So how can we help you? A lot of the information I've given today comes from our service and information that my editors have written. We have a range of resources on lots of different topics, things from editable guidance that you can use to pass out as communication tools to the business, model policies, toolbox talks, directors' briefings, forms and checklists to help with the risk assessments, newsletters, monthly webinars, and a legal register facility if you are looking to work towards 45,001 or 14,001. We also have a comprehensive library, so rather than bunny hopping around the internet, there is legislation, there's all the guidance from HSE and things like trade associations. There's bookmarking features and summaries to help clarify what the law is actually saying. Keep your employees safe and help the business with non-conformities by using our service. Some of the topics that we cover, as you can see here, from accidents and incidents, confined spaces, COSH, LOLA, Legionella, lone working, noise, PPE, risk assessments, just some of the modules that we cover with all the different communication tools. If you are interested and just want to chat through what we can do for you, please give us a call, email us, and one of the team will be pleased to help you. Thank you so much. I hope this has been useful.